Hi, it's Frank Versace with Versace Real Estate, and today we're going to take a look at what happened in the Winnipeg real estate market for June 2018. Stick around. All right, so let's get to it. Let's jump into the numbers and see what's going on in the market. According to the Winnipeg Realtors Association, here's the numbers for what's going on in June. So what you're going to see right off the bat is you're going to see another down month. So June, unfortunately, was down about 5% over last year in June. Now that's unit sales again. Let's not get confused with unit sales versus price. We're talking about the number of properties sold. So June this year, we can see there were 1,547 units or properties that sold, whereas last year there were 1,636 properties that sold. So that's where you get that unit sales number, and the difference is 5% less this year. Now what about year to date? You know, it's one thing to look at month by month, but usually year to date gives us a broader picture of the market. And so year-to-date numbers were also down a little as well. We have done a little bit of catch-up over last month, but so far year-to-date we're sitting down about 7% from January to June 2018 this year over January to June 2017 last year. So what does that look like? We sold so far 6,568 properties this year. Same time last year we were at 7,070. So we've got a bit of a drop in the numbers. Let's take a look at the actual properties that have sold hands. So this is the total market. When we look at the number of houses now, we can see there was 1,174 houses that actually sold in the month of June. Now, June 2017 last year, we had 1,235 houses that sold. So there's that bit of a decline there. Same thing with condos, same story, off just marginally. This year we had 167 condo units sold in June. Last year in June, we had 173 condo units sold in June. So again, just a very slight variation with the numbers for condos, a little bit bigger difference in houses. What about the time it takes to sell a home? Usually we're looking month by month, but now we've got about 6 months of data where we can actually look at what is the number of days on market that it takes to get a property sold year to date. So DOM, of course, that's the language of real estate, days on market, and usually the number one question after how much is the price of the property, most buyers are asking how long has it been on the market. They're trying to see if they can get a better deal. So in Winnipeg right now, year-to-date numbers are showing it's taken about 27 days to get a house sold in Winnipeg, whereas last year it was 28 days. So again, pretty much bang on, and last year was a pretty good market. For condos, we're seeing last year was 43 days, this year 42 days. So slightly one day faster for condos, one day faster for houses. You know, again, folks, it's about the same market as we were in last year for the speed of the market. What about average price? A lot of people like to take a look at, you know, what's going on. Is my property increasing in value? Is it decreasing in value? Buyers like to know this number. Sellers like to know this number. Well, here's the number. Average price in Winnipeg for a single-family detached home, you can see here, is $325,000. That's for housing. Now that's up about 2% over last year this time of year. So we are seeing, you know, although we're seeing this headline here, all the numbers are down unit sales, what we are finding is that pricing is still appreciating slightly. So that's a good sign for the market. Yes, there's less properties maybe turning over, but the numbers, the actual price, are still slightly increasing. That's for houses. Now what about for condos? Condos, the average price is $241,000. Here, however, we're seeing a bit of a decrease, so down about 1% for condos, up about 2% for houses. Again, we're talking 1%, 2%, low single-digit numbers. These are very, very slight variations in the market. So overall, we're doing pretty good. What I want to talk about in this video, which is very, very important for a lot of people to understand, is what we like to call the danger zone. Yes, there is a little bit of danger zone happening in the marketplace. Right now, if you look at the market for houses, right? Houses under $300,000, which of course, if we know our average price is $325,000, is sitting right around the average, right? $300,000 typically is where a first-time home buyer is entering the marketplace. They're looking for a property. What do I have to spend to access the market? About $300,000. Here's why it's the danger zone. The market at under $300,000 was down 19% unit sales again. Remember, unit sales, number of properties turning over in the month. So when we see a double digit 19% down for homes under $300,000, we've got to open our eyes and pay attention to that, because we want to know why is that happening. And here's a couple of things, right? So we've got first-time buyers that are typically accessing properties in that price range. Well, what's happened in the marketplace that's changed anything? It's the stress test. And we talked about this in the last month's market update, where it's getting a little more difficult for buyers, first-time buyers in fact, to qualify for mortgage money because they're being tested against a higher rate in the marketplace. So you can't just go to the bank and expect to get, you're going to get the discount rate, but you're going to get qualified against the posted rate, which is a higher rate. What the government's trying to do is slow down the market, and they're really accomplishing their goals, especially for first-time buyers who are getting affected the most. And that's why we're seeing, when we look at homes in the $300,000 or under range, unit sales down 19%. That's significant. So that's something to watch as we go forward. But this is probably the first time we've seen a double-digit decrease in Winnipeg in that price range, which is typically the meat and potatoes of our market. Now, what else is happening in the marketplace? Well, if we look at above and at and below list price, this is something that buyers and sellers like to pay attention to. So typically what happens is, again, buyers are looking for a great deal, sellers are looking to get as much as they can for their home. So sellers are going to like to see these numbers, buyers are going to like to see these numbers. Now, what's going on for homes selling above list? What percentage of the market is selling for over the list price? Well, it's about 24% of homes that are listed are getting more than what the list price shows when you as a buyer see it advertised. And about 8% of the time, they're getting right on the list number. So again, as a seller, you're thinking, well, what's my chance of getting at or above list? And it's about 32% of the time, about a third of the time, you're going to get at or above list. Now, what's going to happen for below list is about a third of the time, two-thirds of the time, you're going to get less than what you're asking. So 68% of the properties are actually selling for less than list price. And that's good news for buyers. So as a seller, what do? You want to make sure you've got a great realtor that's guiding you and helping you with pricing, with negotiating, with marketing, with making sure your property is staged well, shows well. I mean, you really want to tap into some expert advice here, because you know, it's really going to tie into, are you going to get more than list? You're going to get less than list. This is not the time to play games with the market. Now, a lot of people want to understand what type of market we're in. Are we in a balanced market? Are we in a buyer's market? Are we in a seller's market? Frank, what's going on here? The way we figure that out is what's called the absorption rate. Now, the absorption rate tells us the rate that homes are being sold into the market. So right now, we've got 5,209 active listings for sale. Well, last month in June, 1,547 of those properties sold. That's 1,547 sold. So when we take 5,209 properties available, 1,547 selling per month on average here, it takes about 3.4 months to get those 5,209 properties sold if no other properties hit the market. When we look at our trusty little guide here, we're considered a seller's market if we're 3 months or less. We're considered a buyer's market if we're more than 5 months of inventory, and we're considered a balanced market if we're 3 to 5 months. Well, we're 3.5 months to clear out this 5,200 properties that are available, which puts us in a balanced market slanted towards a seller's market. How did we look last year? Last year was 4,219 properties available for sale, 1,636 properties sold in June, and that put us at about 3 months. So we're just slightly slower, about a half a month slower this year than we were last year for clearing out inventory. At the end of the day, we're in a balanced market. This is great news for buyers because, again, buyers have the opportunity to go and get property below list. It's also great news for sellers because there's still lots of demand in property selling above list. Buyers have selection that they can choose from. So it's kind of one of those type of markets that's a win-win for everybody. So again, I hope this information has been helpful. If you have any questions about the real estate market, buying, selling, maybe investing, maybe you know someone that's looking to buy, sell, or invest, and you want to connect them with a great realtor to help guide them through that process, we would love to hear from you. And I hope this information has been very helpful. Take care and make it a great day. Stay positive.